It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Whatever your cough is saying, treat it with a soothing syrup like Benylin. It gets to work quickly to clear your chest. Benylin, relieve your...
Welcome back. It's so good to have you in our company this morning. We are taking a very serious health focus because it's that time of the year where it kind of feels like the kids are getting a little bit sick, then they're passing it on to other people, and then eventually the adults are getting sick. Everyone's got a starting to bubble under. Well, we are ready to face the upcoming cough season head on. We're going to crush it. And as the chill creeps in, let's amp up your respiratory game for the season ahead. And we have got some massive advice here. Armed with that advice and some savvy strategies to tackle these persistent coughs is KENVUE's Senior Brand Manager for Cough and Cold, Roger Freeman. He ain't no doctor, but he's dialed in, baby. Roger, thank you so much for being and representing what you do at the beginning of cough season, because it gets real, man.
Yeah, let's get the red flags out there. Let's talk about exactly what we should be looking out for. I think we're seeing it already as it is entering into the season. But what are those symptoms that we're talking about that we should look out for when it comes to the cold and flu?
Well, thanks for having me. So to start off with the most common symptoms of cold, we're looking at runny nose, sneezing, sore throat, low-grade fever, and especially a cough. It's common across the cold and flu. A study has actually shown that a cough is the most common symptom when having a cold, and that is apparent in 73% of patients.
Oh, wow.
I've got additional interesting facts from other studies that have been done is that when patients visit the doctor for the first time, they can be coughing up to 15 bouts of cough per hour.
Wow.
And the cough at that frequency is quite a detriment to the quality of life of a patient. 52% of patients actually still have a cough above the normal frequency after 2 or more weeks.
Wow. Hey, listen, we had a doctor on the show earlier. He only had one statistic to give us, so you've just given us like 5. But it speaks to the power of big brand. It speaks to the power of having teams of doctors and medical practitioners focused on this issue for a long time. So thank you for representing that. It begs the question, what actually causes that cough then? What is the root cause of our... Because when it comes, it is very frustrating, man.
Yeah, so a cough is actually a response. So it's your body's way of trying to get rid of an irritant. So when you've got an irritation in your throat or your airways, your nervous system sends a response to your brain. Your brain then reacts by then sending a message to your muscles in your chest and abdomen, and it makes it contract and then expel a burst of air, and that's effectively your cough. Cough can present in 2 ways. So there's one is a purely voluntary cough, and this can be consciously generated, independent of the peripheral sensory inputs to the airways. So it's consciously done. You can imagine like having a phlegm in your chest and or throat, and you're trying to kind of expel it. You're actively trying to do that. Then you've got a purely reflex cough, and with that one, it requires the peripheral sensory inputs to the brainstem, and it basically happens involuntary, so independently of your conscious brain, you then expel a cough, and that's generally from an irritant that is causing that. So what that irritation is there, it actually just gives a reflex. So it happens without the higher brain input. Irritations that you can look out for are environmental irritations, pollution, asthma, postnasal drip, viral infections, as well as gastroesophageal reflux disease.
Wow, okay, a lot to digest there. But especially when it comes to the world of coughing just alone, I mean, there's a lot to look into. You're describing some of those sort of variations, but can you sort of classify a cough in terms of like there being different types that... With that being said, need to then also be treated accordingly. Is that
we
the
want
case?
wet and we want dry, man, because it always feels like one or the other. Eh?
Yeah. So those are the most common. So if we're speaking about a cough that's related to upper respiratory tract infection, we'll keep it simple. So a dry cough and a wet cough. So you've got a wet cough, which is chesty, it's productive, it produces a excess of thick mucus. And what we're trying to do is remove that mucus out of the airways. We also want to thin the mucus so it's easier to expel. We'll use an active ingredient like guaifenesin, which is an expectorant, to do that. Then you've got a dry cough, which is a tickly or non-productive cough. It doesn't produce any mucus, and it's quite irritating. So what you want to do...
It is the most irritating thing on the planet.
Especially when you're working. It just comes
in our line of work, buddy. Yeah.
So what you're trying to do there is remove that irritation. And you can use products like a cough suppressant or antihistamine. So examples of this is dextromethorphan, as well as diphenhydramine, respectively.
Benylin wet cough, okay, because you have had the opportunity of hindsight to see what's worked. You have done so many case studies. You have a proven product here that works fast. So how does it work in combating the wet cough?
Okay, so our wet cough range contains 3 different products. They all have the active ingredient guaifenesin, and guaifenesin works by increasing the amount of secretion and then thinning your mucus, so it makes it easier to expel and then aiding your breathing. The range includes a menthol product as well as our non-drowsy formulations of wet cough and then children's wet cough, which is suitable to use from 2 to 12 years old.
Yeah, absolutely grateful for this. I'm grateful for the fact that there is a solution now. We don't have to be hiding our cough while we're at work.
No, you still have to, it's still TV.
But Roger, yeah, I think the name really speaks testament to what you're allowing here. I think Roger Freeman is the man that's freeing our throats, our respiratory tract from all the obstacles our way. But man, thank you so much for coming through. Thank you for being a part of this. And I think this is a solution that we all can look forward to. And yeah, we can finally breathe easier, I hope, too.
Yeah, look, Benylin's a brand recommended by doctors. It's available over the counter. We've got more products than just the wet cough range. You can speak to your pharmacist about it, and then if you want to find something quickly, you'd also be able to find our wet cough range available widely across supermarkets as well.
And I think quickly is the key word here. Is often you can't slow down for a cough. You can't take a day off for a cough.
Exactly.
You can't stop working for a cough. You can't stop parenting for a cough. Your little ones need to get back in the game as quickly as possible, and you've provided so many solutions. Buddy, you've been amazing. You might be in the wrong line of work. I think let's keep you on this couch. How are you with the relationship advice? Because we might need a bit of help there. Don't worry, we're all lost when it comes to that, but thanks to an incredible person in our corner now, we can treat those colds, coughs and flu at first sight or sign or cough. And Benylin has an incredible range of products available with no prescription needed. Just chat to your chemist and offering quick, non-drowsy relief for the cough. And that's a big step forward. And you can speak to your pharmacist for the right solution for you and your little cough, or big cough, if it is.
Whatever your cough is saying, treat it with a soothing syrup like Benylin. It gets to work quickly to clear your chest. Benylin, relieve your